Before we start our activity, you will need to watch again The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. You need to watch Miss Dixon read The Fox, and finally watch Mrs. Pettifer read The Rabbit. This is a zooming in activity, which means we are going to take our magnifying glass and look at the text really carefully. We're going to look at the level of words and possibly phrases to see what the author uses to convey his meaning. In real life, it is very easy to understand most feelings and emotions. I'm happy, I'm scared, I'm sad, I'm curious. Now, for most of us, this is quite easy. What do authors do, though, to show these feelings in their writing? What do they do when their characters are not even people, they are animals? Now, contrary to what we believe, animals do not smile, they do not show anger in their faces, they have different ways of showing fear. So our job for today is to use our inference skills. These are our detective skills, where we have to search really carefully in the text to see how the authors of these 3 books we're looking at show feelings in their characters. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this will be a challenge for us because we are dealing with 3 texts, none of which you have in front of you in writing. So you may need to watch those videos on YouTube more than one time. Now, I think for The Boy and the Mole, we're quite familiar with the text. And I think year 4, you did The Fox last year. So I really want you to read or rather watch The Rabbit more than once and take notes. You know, I like notes. Take notes about the feelings you observe. Let me show you how I decided to approach our challenge for today. These are my notes. I don't expect your notes to look like this because my notes won't make sense to anyone else but myself because they're done very quickly. So I've taken some notes about the rabbit, the fox, and the boy and the mole. Now, I feel for this activity we will need to be super organized. We have to decide how we're going to group our observations and the words we find. Now, I decided to go first, group it according to the book. So this is the rabbit, like I said, the fox and the boy. And straight away, I can see that, obviously, being for younger children, the words I find for the rabbit are a lot more simple. Fox is getting a little bit more complicated, but I can still group feelings according to the animals in the story. And by the time we get to the boy and the mole, because this text is not a story, it's just a series of affirmations, I need to dig really deep to find the feelings I need to find. So we will need quite advanced inference skills for that one. The numbers you see there, numbers I've used of the clips I have of the book. You won't have this, but these numbers are to help me find the pictures I need to use as evidence. Another way we can approach this is by feeling instead of looking at it by character. So if we think of our first story, it is a little bit about anger. What did the boy or the characters in the story told the boy to do when to express his anger? So it was knock down some things, throw something away, throw his work away. Hide. Laugh. This was all good advice about how to deal with his anger. Now, the rabbit just listened. Do we think that's a sign of patience, perhaps? So I'm gonna put patience there. And we have that just by listening. Now that gives me an idea. Can we make a connection between the rabbit and another text? There was somebody else there who just listened. I'm thinking of the fox. The fox in our story of the boy, the mole, just listened. It didn't say much. But he also thought that he had nothing interesting to say. Let me see. It says, I have nothing interesting to say. I'm ordinary. And now making another connection, I remember the boy saying that he felt he was ordinary. What kind of feeling do you think that shows us? Do you think it's perhaps no confidence in themselves? Perhaps they are shy. This is a photocopy of the text of the fox, and I've highlighted here some other words from the fox that show patience, and this is coming from the dog. So the dog, again, is silent. So I might put silent there. And we got his big, gentle mouth. He tends to her burns, so I might put tending there. Tend, looking after. Gives us an idea about how he feels. On the other hand, we get the feeling that in the story of the fox, the magpie is scared. There's fear. And the magpie uses words like nothing. She melts into darkness. Now to melt, we know what melting looks like, but here she melts, she becomes one with the dark. Now why would she want to disappear like this? She's afraid. Or she is sad because she can't fly anymore. So I could put sadness. Similarly, in the story of the fox, the fox looks like a very dangerous creature. So the way the fox is viewed, we are talking about, well, I might put it with a fear. It's got haunted eyes. and Magpie trembles when she sees him. The fox is watching her all the time. So silence may not always be a good thing. It could show patience. It might show danger. The boy is also asking a lot of questions. Why do you think that is? We have a whole list of questions in The Boy and the Mole. Is it curiosity? Is it lack of knowledge? Is it lack of confidence? Have a think. I know at school we encourage you to ask questions, but in life, why do we ask questions all the time? Questions, questions, questions. Let me show you another way we can infer meaning. Characters don't always say a lot about themselves. Think of the fox in The Boy, the Mole story. Hardly ever speaks. I want you to think about the things the mole and the horse say to the boy. They're a little bit like mentors to him, a little bit like teachers. So the boy is here. The mole tells him to be less afraid. Less afraid. He also talks about being in the present. Says, be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself. The horse says, I've got you. He says something about tears. Tears being good. He says, I have asked for help. Now, why do you think they're saying these things to the boy? What can we infer from these words? Could it be that the boy is afraid? The boy doesn't live in the present, worries about the future. Is he kind to himself? Can he forgive himself, or does he beat himself down? So doesn't think much of himself, low self-esteem perhaps. I've got you, says the horse. Could it be it's because the boy feels helpless? Tears are good. Perhaps the boy cries, he's sad. He needs to ask for help. So sometimes in order to understand the feelings of one character, you need to see how the other characters treat him or her, or what they say to him. Now I have a challenge for you. In The Fox, the story ends ambiguously, which means we don't know for sure what the meaning is. It says, In the stillness, Magpie hears a faraway scream. She cannot tell if it is a scream of triumph or despair. Could you explain, as part of your challenge, what you think that is? You're not going to be wrong, because we do not know for sure. Just take a guess. Can you prove, by using words in the text, whether the fox is feeling like it has achieved something, it's won, or it feels desperate, really sad, and why? Your second challenge is this. The boy is asked whether his glass is half full or half empty. What does that mean? Can you understand what that tells us about the boy? And actually he says, I'm really grateful to just have a glass. He's grateful to have a glass. Again, what could he mean by that? What can you tell about his character from this? Right, get your inference skills working. Let's see what you come up with.